Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sekiro walkthrough. So some time has passed since we last made an episode of this series, and there's a reason for that. Basically, I was making episodes of this series and I did have a few episodes recorded and ready to go, but I had hard drive troubles, and those hard drive troubles caused me to actually lose the footage of like 2 or 3 episodes. And then I just got like procrastinating because I had to start again and stuff, and I just never got around to continuing it. But I'm now continuing it after almost a year now, so yeah, really sorry about that. But yes, we are now continuing, and we are going to finish this series now. So let's resume. So where we left off, we had just finished the dilapidated temple, talked to everyone here, and now we are heading through here. So, of course, in Sekiro you have a grappling hook, and this is one of the coolest features of the game, is the grappling hook. And it's left trigger to use it, and these green circles will indicate where you can use it. And if the circle is white, it means you can't use it, so you've got to get close enough that it turns green. And up here we can see the gorgeous view of the Ashina Outskirts. So this one's a bit far away, but there's a way to get over there. And we could just do that, but you can also use the grappling hook in mid-air if you want. So you can also jump and grapple, like so. And as I said, this is one of the coolest features of the game, is the grappling hook. It allows for a lot of mobility, let's put it that way. And sometimes even combat usage, but we'll get into that when we get into that. And we'll commune with the sculptor's idol here. And if you play Dark Souls, of course you know these are basically your bonfires, so we will rest up, and of course you can travel between them, but no need to do that just yet. So, we have multiple ways we can go here. We can go down and take a more direct approach, or we can go up. And there's quite a lot of multiple paths in this game, so yeah, it's kind of like Dark Souls in that regard, but even more so, because in Dark Souls you had multiple paths you can go, but in this game you have a lot of different paths you can go, and a lot of different ways you can approach a level. Like, do you want to go stealthy or do you want to just charge in? So get some Mungo sugar here, which will temporarily reduce vitality damage taken from physical attacks. Good if you're going up against some tough enemies. So there's some enemy over there, and he's already been alerted to me. So gotta be sneaky. You don't have to be sneaky in this game, you can just take a direct approach, but sometimes the sneaky approach is easily the best. And being sneaky will always give you just a general advantage. Like so, if I do this. Hiya! And there we go, we can get loot. Because similarly to Dark Souls, enemies will drop loot in this game, but unlike Dark Souls, there is money in this game. And yeah, it's kind of like Souls, but you have to loot it in this game. And it's not used for leveling up, it's used for like buying various things. The economy is similar to Dark Souls in this game, but it's not the same, so you will need to kind of relearn it a bit. And we'll head up here, stay crouched. And there's some enemies over there. And we could explore all that down there, but I'd rather take these guys out first. Sneaky, sneaky. And then jump. Hiya! Sneak attacks, very, very nice. And there's an item over here. Ceramic shard, which will distract an enemy. Not too useful, but can be useful in certain scenarios. Now, over here, there are 2 guards, so I need to be a bit more clever. Now, I could grapple over there, and then try and get the jump on one of them, which seems like a good idea. Again, always stay crouched. This is how you be stealthy. And then I'm going to drop on this guy, and then I'll attack the other guy. Now the other guy, I think, has a gun. And yes, the enemies do have guns in this game sometimes, and they're like bow and arrows in Dark Souls, but they're more dangerous because the bullets move a lot faster, but they can still be deflected. So I'm going to jump on this guy. And the other guy saw me. Oh! There, you see? But he does have to reload, so that gives you a chance to attack. Get a fish full of ash. A fish full of ash. And the other guy didn't see me, so that's good. Sneaky, sneaky in the tall grass. And take him down. Nice and easy. Get some Ungo sugar. I don't really use the Ungo sugar or many consumables in this game, but they're still nice to pick up, and sometimes they can be quite useful. Now I'm going to take this guy out over here, just because I like to explore, but there's another guy over there. So I think we'll just get up here. He didn't see that because he's blind. And I'll jump on him. And this other guy's been alerted. Ting. And down he goes. Very, very simple. The enemies will get much harder though as the game goes on. They'll start to whip out all kinds of combos and more damaging attacks. Oh, hello. Oh, can't lean up against this wall. I'll just charge him, screw it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, these guys getting these kind of enemies pretty weak, so pretty easy to just attack frontal. But other enemies, they are pretty tough, so stealth becomes quite necessary later on. Get some more pellets. Can never have too many pellets, just like life gems in Dark Souls 2. Really want those healing items. Okay, I think that's all of the items on this path, so let's head back onto the main path. There's an item over here, let's just grab that. Get another pellet, very useful. And oh, hello, Mr. Doggy. I believe dogs can maybe be snuck up on, but it's not really necessary. Unlike regular enemies, they don't have any posture, they just die in one hit. Oh, and they can also be parried, but they're a bit dangerous. But yes, they mostly die in one hit, so they're quite a bit easier to take down than regular enemies. But still be careful though, because they can do a bit of damage if they gang up on you. Grab a ceramic shard there, and up here is the next bonfire. Or sorry, Sculptor's Idol. Now there's an item over here inside the building. So I'm going to grab this. Get a shuriken wheel. Now this is a mechanical device which can be fitted to the shinobi prosthetic. And once you fit this to the prosthetic, which you can do back at the sculptor, you can start to use shurikens, which is basically an ability. Because you don't have spells in this game, but you do have tools that you can fit to your prosthetic tool, as you can see here. And shurikens are pretty useful because they're basically your only form of ranged combat in this game. So I will demonstrate what I mean when we get back to the sculptor, but for now, coming up is a certain enemy, which I'm going to try and be stealthy about. So as you can see over there, there's that guy, and he's a bit more heavily armoured than the regular enemies. So I'm going to try and sneak up on him here, which is possible. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 good. You. Ah, he's seen me. Never mind. So this guy is General Naomori Kawarada, and he is a mini-boss. And that attack there was a perilous attack, hence why it glowed red, and that meant that he was going to do a swipe. Now swiping attacks you have to jump over because they can't be blocked or deflected. Oh god. What? So I'm going to parry his attacks. And that what he was doing there was a heal. Because you don't heal health in this game, but you do heal vitality. And if you do that, it means you basically have to start over. Start over in deflecting their attacks and reducing their vitality. And what he did there was also a grab. And grabs you want to dodge away from. Because if they grab you, you're going to be a bit fucked. And there we go. Oh yeah. There you go, that's one. Now get the other. And you can also do jumping attacks as well, and jumping attacks are pretty handy. Whoop. So it's all about just waiting for his attacks, and doing your own counter-attacks, and keeping this up until you get that bar to 0. And dodge out of the way of those. Jumping or dodging is both ideal for those. But sweeping attacks, jumping is basically the only way to deal with it. And there we go. And there we go, we get a prayer bead. And once you get 4 of these, you can increase your vitality and posture, which will give you a lot of extra health, basically, in both your blocking and in terms of your general health. And we also get a gourd seed, which will upgrade your flask, which is really, really handy. And I may get vitality and posture mixed up in this game. Sometimes posture is the blocking, vitality is health itself. And health itself usually doesn't matter, but it does matter for you, but it doesn't usually matter on enemies, because on enemies you're pretty much always going for the death blow. You're basically never going to reduce their health. Only in really long drawn out battles and battles against boss fights are you really looking to reduce their health, because reducing their health isn't how you kill them, but it is how you manage to reduce their posture faster. So yeah, it's basically only relevant on boss fights and mini boss fights, and never really against regular enemies. Now up here there is quite a few ways we can go about this. So as you can see over there, there's quite a few enemies in this next area. Now we can go over there, and you can see there's a guy over there. And I think I'm going to go over there. But as I said, there's quite a few ways you can go about this next area. So I'm going to go over here first. Again, the grappling hook is your best friend in this game. It opens up so many avenues for travel. And you can also use it when descending as well. Oh. Get into a crouch. Make sure those arrows don't fill up to maximum on the yellow, because if they do, then the enemies will be alerted, and they do de-aggro, but they take a very long time to de-aggro. Now, there is an eavesdrop here, so let's listen what they gotta say.
果たして勝てるものかのう。どうにも悪い予感がするのじゃ。何を弱気なことを。両親とはいえ、一心様はご健在。源一郎様の弓も見事なものじゃ。加えて、鬼行部様もおるではないか。おう、鬼は行部正隆様か。確かにあのお方と鬼影が共にあれば、大手門が抜かれるなど考えられぬわ。
So, Ishin-sama still lives, but he's sickly, so he's not as powerful as he once was. And Genichiro, of course, is that douchebag who beat us before. And Gilbo is a character we haven't met yet, but he's guarding the gate to the castle, which is where we need to go. So, if I engage here, there will be a lot of enemies fighting, but I can take them down. They're not too powerful. So I'm going to do a plunging attack, and then we will be surrounded on all sides. But I can take them. Stabby, stabby. And that guy over there has a gun, so we need to be careful of that. Hello. Why? Man is so satisfying. Oh, he missed. Idiot. Come on. Oh, he missed again. Good thing he's a terrible shot. And with ranged enemies, of course, the best tactic is to just rush them, because they're usually not very proficient in melee combat. Just like archers in Dark Souls. But again, even better than that, you can actually, you can actually deflect their attacks. But deflecting their attacks won't do any damage to them, but it will protect you from taking posture damage, because you can also block their attacks, but you will take posture damage as a result, which isn't very good if you're being attacked by melee guys at the same time. Now, more plunging attacks. Again, all of this can be confronted in a straight up attack, but using stealth just makes things a lot easier and cleaner, and it's the way of the shinobi to be stealthy and efficient. Oh, hello. Ow, ow. What? There we go. Take him. Oh, there you go. See, I got his vitality down to 0, which means that I could just do a death blow on him regardless, because if you get someone's vitality to 0, it will effectively stun them, I believe. So yeah, it has its uses, but you're mostly looking for posture damage and death blows in this game. That's where it's at. Oh, oh. Now that guy is a bit of a more dangerous enemy, so I'm going to try and get a plunging attack on him. So yes, this guy is big guy with a hammer, and he is quite a bit tankier than the regular enemies, and he also hits really hard. But you do face him just the way you do face him the same way you do every enemy. But you can also stealth these guys, and again, highly recommended you do that on these guys. There you go, down he goes. The bigger the enemy, the more highly recommended it is to use stealth, because otherwise you're going to be in for a pretty tough battle. Okay, with that guy taken down, this area is mostly cleared out. And there's an item over here, let's grab this. Amiibo Balloon of Wealth. A what? Amiibo Balloon of Wealth. Which will give you more coin per kill, which is quite useful. Bit of extra money never hurt anybody. And speaking of money, we need to go up here and talk to this guy. Now, he's not the easiest to get up to. We can't grapple up there, as you see. But if we do this... Oh, there's an item up here. A light coin purse. A light coin purse. I can't speak today. And you see there's a dude there. But cliff faces are usually not that easy to get over to. You can't just grapple over to a cliff face. And of course I can't just jump over there either. Oh, and I see a woman over there as well. And a dude here who's injured. Hello?
誰ぞそこにおるのかおうその声いやまさかな御人我が名は野上伊之助平田家の老頭だったどうかそこのあばら屋の老婆の様子見てやってくれぬか私の母なのだが狂ってしまいもはや誰が誰だか分かっておらぬ
Alright, my man, I will. But do you have any more to say?
先ほどの御人かどうかそこのあばら屋の老婆を気にかけてやってくれもはや誰が誰だか分かっておらぬされど狂っておっても母なのだ
Dark times here in Japan. Oh, hello. What? Oh, ouch, ouch. Chop. There we go. Those things are check-in things. They're not too dangerous, but they do take a few hits to get down, and they can do quite a bit of damage. But again, they can be deflected like any other enemy. Very few attacks in this game can be deflected. And if I go through here, there you go, you can attack while crouched. Pick up some Litecoin purse, more Litecoin purse, and even more Litecoin purse. Lovely, a veritable bounty. So yes, keep your eye out for secrets. Just like Dark Souls, you can never know what could be anywhere. And I know, I keep making comparisons to Dark Souls, but it's a From Software game. They all have pretty high similarities. Now, hello, old woman.
おお、伊之助か、せがれよ。若様を見なかったかの。
せがれではない。
伊之助、またそのような。そなたはわしがおかしくなったというが、さすがにせがれを間違えるわけなかろう。まあよい。せがれよ。この鈴をそなたに託そう。若様のことを案じ、作った守り鈴じゃ。この守り鈴を仏様にお供えしておくれ。
So, the young lord's bell charm. So it can be offered to the Buddha, and by this they mean the Buddha back at the temple, the whatever he's called, the happy Buddha or whatever. So yes, we will offer that later, and we'll see what it does. Now, do you have anything more to say?
Inosuke, 我がせがれよ。守り鈴は仏様に備えてくれたかえ？ほら、偏屈な仏師がおるあれ寺があるじゃろう。仏様ならそこにおられるでな。
Indeed, I will handle that later. Mr. Man?
先ほどの御人か。母の相手をしてくれ。かたじけない。母はその鈴をずっと気にかけていた。上ごとのように仏様に備えろと。
Indeed. Don't worry, my man. I will see what that thing does. Now, onwards we go. Now, some more enemies up here, so I'm going to try stealthy. Because I'm a bit low on life, so I'd rather find a sculptor's idol as soon as possible. Now, if we go up here... There we are. And up here, and a bit further up. Whoop. Here we are. We can talk to this guy now. Who are you?
ご供養いかがかね。
供養。
さよう。死者たちのご冥福のため品を売っておる。見たところあんたも随分と殺しておるな。ご供養していきなされよ。
So, Crow's Bed Memorial Mob. So the memorial mob, I mean, are basically the merchants of this game. So you can sell items of all kinds for various amounts, which I like to do for the more useless items like the ceramic shards and the fish and the fishes full of ash. Yes, that. And you can also purchase items, pretty useful items as well. Now, the Robert's Firecrackers is a very useful item. That is another tool to be fitted to the prosthetic, and that is pretty useful against certain enemies, mostly animals, as you can see there, because of the sound it makes. But we can't afford that right now, so we'll have to save up for that. And antidote powders are also quite useful because that can heal poison, which we will encounter later on, of course.
死者があるところまた供養衆あり。カラスどもと同じことじゃて。どこへ行こうとご供養を欠かさぬようにの。
Indeed. So yes, those guys are the main way that you can spend your money in the game. So whenever you see a tent like this, keep an eye out because that's where the vendors are. Now, there's a bit more over here. I don't believe there's any fall damage in this game, so I don't think you need to worry about that. So if we head down here, and head over here, there's another item. Get a Gachin Sugar. Now this will suppress the sound you make, so it makes it easier to stealth around, particularly useful in very dangerous areas, but again, not something I'll be particularly using much. I've never really been one for consumables in games like this, but they have their uses definitely. Now, I'm gonna go up here again, like to take the more stealthy route, and that guy over there has a mortar cannon of some kind, so he will be quite dangerous from range. So I'd like to take him out first. Make sure you're crouched always, and sneaky stabby. And there we go. And we get some black gunpowder. And this is a material used in prosthetic tool upgrades, because you can also upgrade prosthetic tools in this game, and that will use various resources, kind of like how you upgrade your weapons in Dark Souls with Titanite and whatnot. So in this game you'll need to use various resources to upgrade your tool, but again, what resources you need depends on which tool you're upgrading. So yeah, different people will look out for different ones depending on which tools they're partial to. Now I think these guys might have a eavesdrop, but I'm not sure. Ooh. I don't think so though, so I'm not gonna go talk to them. If I head over here though, onto this branch, and then over here, and now we'll need to do a jump grapple. Best thing to do, just jump and then spam it until you can. Once it goes green you can, but if you miss it then you will fall to your death, which is not ideal. Again, you don't have to take this path, but I like to take this path because it's cooler. And what's this over here? It looks like snake skin of some kind. Strange. Now, I think that path down there is able to be traversed too, but I'm not sure. Ooh. Yeah, that's what I was talking about the falling to your death part. So if a circle has a triangle in it like that, it means you won't just land, it'll kind of like fling you to, it'll kind of like just fling you, basically. And usually that means that there's another ledge that you're going to land on, or it means there's another grappling hook you need to grapple to, because you can do subsequent grapples. But it might also mean you just fall to your death as well. So yeah, be careful with that. Right, I'll be back with you when I'm back to where I was. But you did see there I got some pellets there, it was quite nice. And those pellets were actually more than what I could carry, because you can only carry a certain amount of each item in the game in this game, so I can only carry 3 pellets at a time. So since I had more than 3 pellets there, they went into my stash. And that stash will automatically refill your consumables whenever you visit a sculptor's idol, which is quite handy. I don't know if I explained this stuff before, but explain it again just in case, because it's been quite a while since I recorded this series. You see, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, those things pretty useful in most cases, but they can also be a little dangerous. So since I don't remember exactly what the path is over there, I'm going to take a more conventional route. So if I head over here, there's an item. There you go. And we can't open this door. So let's head over this way, shall we? Alright, I'm gonna go up to this roof. And I see the next sculptor's idol. Excellent. But again, there's quite a few enemies coming up, but some pretty useful things as well. And here's another one of these roosters or whatever they are. Hello. Ouch. There we go. So yes, they can also be deflected like a regular enemy, but I find beasts a bit harder to fight in this game because their attacks are a bit harder to read. But they do usually have less posture and vitality, so they're easier to take down. And usually one deflect and a death blow will suffice for most beast enemies. Now, who are you, old chap?
見覚えのある顔だ。ああ、忍びの旦那だ。いやあの世以来ですね。
あの世とは何だ。
え？旦那、覚えてねえんですか？
ああ。
へえ、なるほど。覚えてねえと。なあ旦那、あっしはあんたに会ったことがある。その頃は賊をやってやした。それから足を洗って物売りを始めたんでさ。が銭がない。銭がないから品もない。そこで旦那、あっしにちーとばかし銭を用立てていただけやせんか。それを元手に旦那にもきっと役立つ品を仕入れやす。それからおまけにあの世のこと話して差し上げやしょう。どうです？ 悪い話じゃねえでしょ。
So, we can purchase information for only 10 cents, so pretty cheap. And I do recommend you invest in this guy because this guy has some pretty useful things available later on.
銭だ。
旦那、ありがてえ。
話してくれ。
ああ、もちろんでさ。あの夜、あっしらは平田の屋敷に押し入りやした。平田はご存知の通り、アシナの分家。ちんけな野党なんざ、普通は返り討ちです。けど、先だっての戦の折だ。若い侍はほとんど出払ってたんでさ。そこを狙って押し入りやして、そんで火をつけ奪った。その最中でさ、旦那と会ったのは。旦那は何かを探してた。そんな風に見えやしたね。あっしが知ってるのはそんなもんでさ。
そうか。
ああ。あの世もちょうどそんな顔してやした。今も何かをお探しで？ねえ、旦那。お題さえいただけりゃ、他にも知りたいことをお教えできるかもしれやせん。ぜひ、情報を買ってください。
So, Anayama the Peddler. So this guy will sell you information, and that information can be pretty interesting and useful. But what does he mean about that night? And we don't seem to remember it, but he already seems to know us. Interesting things to keep in mind. So we can pay 20 sen for additional information, and again, I do recommend you buy from this guy, because he will stock some useful things.
情報を買おう。
お買い上げ、ありがとうございます。ああ、なんたって旦那は忍びでさ。忍びの道具の情報を教えて差し上げやしょう。
頼む。
あっし、すげえ勢いで火が出る筒を見かけたことがありやす。平田屋敷の押し入りの時、あっしの仲間がぶんどったもんです。ボーボーってな調子ですげえ勢いで火を吹いてやしたよ。
And there we go, we get the Flame Barrel Memo. So the Flame Barrel is another shinobi prosthetic tool, and it's a flamethrower basically. Pretty useful, but we only have a memo, we don't know where it is.
火の出る筒が平田屋敷に。覚えておこう。
But we do know it's in the Harate estate, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that one.
いただいた銭を元手に品を仕入れてきやす。旦那、楽しみにしていてください。
So that's all he has for us right now. We'll have to come back later, see what he's got stocked. Now what's this over here? A remnant.
これも平田のものだ。弔ってやらねば。九郎様、エマ殿、平田から逃れてきた者、他にはもうほとんど残っておりません。そうですか。すまぬ。流因を狙う者は絶えぬ。平田の者たちを私が巻き込んでしまった。
So, the young lord and Emma. So, we have to go up here to the sculptor's idol, and I think this is where we're going to wrap this episode up, because it's been going on for a little while, and it's a pretty good place to stop, because coming up is a rather difficult battle. So, I'm going to rest here. And we can also get enhanced physical attributes now. So enhancing physical attributes is basically leveling up in this game, and that is what you spend the prayer beads on, but only once you have 4. And you can also spend memories as well once you have those, but we don't have those yet. And I believe, if I remember correctly, prayer beads are from mini-bosses and possibly bosses as well, and memories are from the actual bosses, because there is a difference between the two. Mini-bosses are, like, well, as they suggest, mini-bosses. Like, they're difficult, but they're not super difficult, but bosses, like actual bosses, they are pretty difficult, and they go on for quite a long time. So, gonna rest up, and that is where we're gonna wrap this episode up. So, thank you all so much for watching. It is really good to be back, and this time we will finish the series once and for all. Have I ever not been a man of my word? So, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.